Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizzano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves. And we are here to learn about the marketing moves you can make to position yourself to gain a real foothold in any kind of business, And now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the easiest ways, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is Thursday's show. I recorded it Thursday night, late around 11 p.m., but I'm not going to upload it until Friday morning because while I was recording, I got a message and I had to respond to these people. I had to talk to them and blah, 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 blah. And it's going to take an hour and it's going to be a lot of complaining. Well, not on my end, but they're going to have a lot of complaints. I'll tell you what's been happening lately with me and the job that I do. Lately, because I'm on the, I'm at the point. We all come to this point. We come to the fork in the road. And we come to the fork in the road, and it's time for me to move on. It's time for me to say goodbye to the truck driver. And so my productivity in the trucking has been down. In my business activities are, of course, through the roof. Like, at first you try to do a balance and you're like, I got to do this much, that much. But after a while, this becomes your baby. This is my baby. Besides my two babies in my house, my wife and my child. This is my baby too. And I'm coming to the point where I'm like, buying because top-notch copywriter you need. I'm at the point now where I'm buying more stuff just to have for ideas and inspiration and to really get a real foothold on the whole copywriting thing. What can I do? The copywriting, the marketing, what can I do? Where can I go? How, what, psychology. We're doing all that, So I've been doing a lot more of that, a lot more studying that, a lot more focus on that, a lot of writing people. I got my P.O. box. I have to get that out one of these days. Got my P.O. box, so we're doing more writing because my end goal is to be a top-notch writer. I want to write a few fiction books. I would like to write a couple, hey man, if I could do it, you could do it books, self-help, not self-help to get you addicted, but self-help to actually help you out. And I have quite a few ideas, have them jotted down, but that's the end goal, just to be a writer, just to be at home, the wife, the baby. And so we've come to the fork in the road as far as the truck driving, because I've done this, and it's hard sometimes for me, because I've been doing this for 15, 16, what year are we in? 2000, what is this? 2022. So I started this in 2004, the truck driving, and I moved to Atlanta in 2006. Moved to Atlanta, Georgia in 2006. So that's when I really, really invested myself into driving. So I can say it's been a solid 16 years of me doing this, And it's been nice, but it's time to go. It's time for me to go, of course. But this is the fork in the road moment for me. And my employer has been doing a lot of complaining lately about my productivity. And I'm like, I can't be like I talked to my wife about this, and I told her, I said, I'm gonna have to find me, I said, to supplement the income, So I'm gonna have to find me another job closer to my house, doing that maybe at night, and I can write and work during the day, And she's like, I can agree with that. And I'm like, cause this is a fork in the road, I said I don't want to say, because I don't want to keep driving the truck, and then you keep driving the truck and you get more and more comfortable, even though it's been 16 years, I'm still not. I've always been ready to find something else, like the first couple of years were cool. They were fun, don't get me wrong. It took me about a good 6-7 years to actually be comfortable and say, all right, I'm good at this, I can do this for a living, And then about year 10, year 12, I'm like, all right, what are we gonna do to get out of here, And for me, things always take longer than maybe the average person, but it does not matter, ladies and gentlemen, how long it takes you to get to where you want to go. It's just a matter of you getting there, If you want to get there, show up every day, be consistent, and you will get there. It might take you 1 year, might take you 5 years, might take you 20 years, It's just like people tell you, it's just like a lot of people start their online adventure in an MLM, It's just because it's the easiest thing to do. It's like the easiest point to, enter in, boop, and you're right there. And if you're like me and you worked at a warehouse, maybe you worked at a truck driver, you work these jobs where you don't really speak to a lot of people. You kind of, even though in your daily life you do talk to people, but listen, I've gone days without having like an actual conversation with somebody, especially when I first started driving. I went days without talking to people on a regular basis, because for one, I didn't have a cell phone at first, which is, you'll think it's crazy, but I didn't have a cell phone at first. And you would go to the warehouse and they would give you the little, hey, how's the weather, man? Is it hot? But you would go days without speaking to somebody. And so my ability to, because like I said it before, and I'll say it again, we are all salesmen. Each and every last one of us. We have to sell ourselves to your spouse. You have to sell yourselves to your husbands, girlfriends, boyfriends. You have to sell yourself to the jobs. You sell yourself to your friends. You sell yourself to your family, your kids. You have to convince them sometimes to do things that they might want to do. We are all salesmen. You know what I mean? And so the skills that I had to be a salesman probably eroded a little bit. So when I started the MLM, there was always people coming in. They're like, "Oh, my second day, I got to sell," And it's like, "What do you do for a living?" They're like, "Oh, I sell shoes or whatever." And it's like, okay, you can't. At first, you would get kind of jealous, But it's like, I can't be jealous of this because they have more experience than me, So you never get discouraged, okay? That's one thing I will tell you along this adventure. When you come to these forks in the road, and we all have them. You all have the moment where you're like, all right, it's all I can stand, and I can't stand no more, And you're like, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and keep doing this, or are you going to move on and do that? What do you want to do? It's like, you ever been in a relationship with somebody and the relationship is on the rocks and it is shaky, and you're like, are we going to be together? Are we going to make it? Or are we not going to make it? And it's like, can you see yourself with them forever? How long, like, where do you see yourself going with these people? And I will tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a young person listening to this, if you are 23, 24, even in your 20s, well, I'll say that. If you're in your 20s and you are with somebody and you can't see yourself having kids or being married to them, or living with them forever, get out of Dodge as fast as you can. Listen, you don't want to waste people's time, and you don't want to waste your time, One thing that I used to have a bad habit of, I used to either, I only go two ways in relationships. They used to go really quick, or some people will stick around for a little while. But my wife, who I love to death, is the first relationship that I had that lasted more than 2 years, Like, we've been together. We had one falling out when we was, still courting, but we got back together and made things work. But we've been together now for, matter of fact, it's funny. Not to get off on the subject, but it's close to Valentine's. It's like the 10th or something like that. Little known fact, ladies and gentlemen. I met my wife at a Walmart on Valentine's Day. Okay? So, there you go. But we've been together now for 13, altogether, I've known my wife for the last 13 years. We've been married for about 5 years. So, there you go. But this is the longest relationship I've ever had. And this is the longest relationship I'm ever going to have. Because you kind of know if you want to be with somebody or not. It's not hard to, because you have to think about this. When people say, I want to have a baby with you, you have to think about, my friend told me this theory one time, and I found it to be kind of funny, Might be kind of cruel, but he's like, this girl wanted to have a baby with me, and I said, yeah. And he said, I thought about slitting my wrist, and I said, that's not. I said, whoa. He said, yeah, so I'm not having a baby with her. But he said, if you think about you rather jump out of a window than have a baby with somebody, you probably don't want to be with them. I said, sir, you might be right. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, these are the decisions in life. You come down the road and you're like, all right, what do I want to do? And a lot of times we stick around, we stay with things because we are too afraid of change. We are too afraid of the unknown, But sometimes you need that unknown. Sometimes you need that fear, And fear can drive you to great things sometimes, Fear can take you places that you've never been before. I mean, listen, when I first started driving, when I first started truck driving, I was very nervous. I was very fearful. I was like, man, I would say, God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what direction my life is headed. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to go. And I started off in Missouri. I was still in a small town. And I remember my first job that I got, they wanted me to come to Kansas City. Kansas City, Missouri. They wanted me to spend, like 3 months in Kansas City, Missouri. I said, all right, we can do that. So I went, packed up my little bag, moved to Kansas City, Missouri. A nice enough place. It wasn't for me. I stayed there, did my job. I was like, all right, this is cool. And met some people, had a nice time, moseyed on, Yeah, then after that, I moved to Oklahoma City for like 2 months. They wanted me. It was the same company. They wanted me to do some driving to Oklahoma. Did some driving to Oklahoma. Once again, nice enough town. Met some lovely people. Had a nice time. I liked Oklahoma better than I liked Oklahoma City better than I liked Kansas City. But I was like, I can't see myself living here forever. I don't know. But and then all that led to, I'll tell you what happened, how I got to Atlanta, Georgia. We talk about forks in the road, and I got a call from a company, and they said, hey, we're hiring in the Southeast. And at the time, I was still in Missouri. I was in Oklahoma City, and they were like, we're hiring in the Southeast. And I'm like, what's the Southeast? And they, it's like from Memphis to Atlanta, and all points in between, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, Atlanta? I'm like, and I was thinking, I'm like, who do I know from Memphis to Atlanta? And I said, oh, my best friend. We was in the Navy together, okay? And so I remember I called him up and I said, hey, can I use your address? Because they offered me this job in the Southeast, but I don't know anything about Atlanta. I don't know anybody there from Atlanta. I know you, And he was like, sure, you can use my mom's address. And so I got his mom's address, used that, You know, came down, had my same one bag, and I mean, 15, 16 years later, ladies and gentlemen, boom, there you go, you know. So that was a decision I made. It was a great decision, good decision, and you know, eventually I met my wife, had my baby, and I will be forever grateful for the city of Atlanta, Georgia, you know. And I'm happy. And me and my best friend, we got to be reunited, you know, from the Navy, and we've had a good time since then. And yeah, it all worked out. But that was a fork in the road for me, because at that time I was working at a prison. I was very sad. I was very, you know, kind of miserable, you know, kind of, you know, not the happiest of the happiest. And I just needed to get out of the town that I was living in, you know. It wasn't for me, and so that was a fork in the road. And now we come to a new fork in the road, you know, but we're working on that too. And for you, ladies and gentlemen, there will always be points. There will always be situations where you're like, all right, what should I do? Should I go this way? Should I go that way? What do I do? Ladies and gentlemen, do not, you know, sometimes staying put somewhere is not a bad thing, you know. Like me and my brother, we lived in the same town. We were roommates, you know, we had an apartment together. That place is perfect for my brother, you know. It's not too small, but it's not too big. It's perfect for him. It wasn't for me, but it's for him, you know. And he stayed put. Somebody wanted him to move to St. Louis, and he was like, nah, St. Louis too fast for me. So he stayed put. So see, it's not always going down that road. Sometimes you stay on the same path that you're on, and it all works out. It just depends on you, depends on the people, depends on the thing that you're wanting to do. And you know, with this internet, with this business, with this marketing, whatever you want to do, whatever business model you want to be in, coaching, affiliate marketing, does not matter. There will be at some point where you're like, all right, is this what I really want to do? And you might pivot. You might go in a different direction. I started off in the MLM, and then I was like, all right, I'm being an affiliate marketer. Affiliate marketing, I've made a few bucks from affiliate marketing. I have no complaints about it, but I want to create my own products. And you can always be an affiliate marketer. Listen, you can always be an affiliate marketer, but I don't want that to be my full-time thing. You know what I mean? And so you can always do affiliate marketing. If you have a big enough, not even a big list. You need an active list. You need a responsive list. You know, that's the most important thing about this whole thing. About any business. You don't have to have the biggest list. You don't have to have the biggest amount of customers. But what you need is active paying customers. You want good to great customers, you know. You want people that are open and willing to spend money with you. It doesn't make sense if you have a million people on your email list and they buy nothing, you know. That sucks. You do not want that in your life, okay? You do not want a million people on your email list and they all are crappy leads, okay? You do not want that. So keep that in mind. You know, if you have 1,000 leads and they're always buying, they're always responsive, that is great. But if you have a million and none of them do anything, then it's no point. It's pointless. All right? But there will be moments in life that you come down and you have to make a decision. Make a stand, make a decision, make a choice. See what you're going to do, okay? And it's not always be thinking, you know, always, you know, reflect, you know, and take a deep breath, you know, be in the moment and figure out, you know, hey, is this what I want to do? Is this where I want to go? You know, the more you have this stuff figured out ahead of time, the better off you will be, you know. I told you before, ladies and gentlemen, I used to live off the cuff, okay? Everything off the cuff. You know? I mean, this is how I ended up in Georgia. I told you, I just call up my friend. Hey, man, you got an address I can get, you know? It's like, what? I mean, you know, who does that? But I remember I met a guy at the Greyhound station once before we get going. I was at the Greyhound station one time going to pick up a truck, matter of fact. The guy said, hey, Florida or California? Which one should I go to? And everybody was we was at the St. Louis Greyhound station. I remember this. And people were like, he's like, I need a new change in my life. I saved up some money. I'm going to buy me a bus ticket. California or Florida? Which one? And, I was like, man, I've never been to Florida, but I've been to California. It's nice. He's like, yeah, what part? I'm like, San Diego, LA. I said, Southern California. I said, that's real nice. He's like, yeah, that is nice, man. And then somebody said, Florida's real nice and it's cheaper. And I said, that part is true. And I think he wound up buying a ticket for Miami, Florida. So, that was a spur of the moment. That was kind of fascinating and weird all at the same time. But ladies and gentlemen, the more you have these things kind of planned out, the better off you will be, But yeah, so just remember, you too will come. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you this: the reason why I tell you that I have a job. This is a growing business. This is a budding business. This is a business on the move. Yeah, we are making some money, but of course we're not making the money. We're not where we want to be. You know what I mean? And so I am very honest and very upfront with that. I would never tell you lies like, oh yeah, I've quit my job. Now I'm working full time online. There's a lot of fraud people that will try to spill that by you because they think it's more pristine, it's more attractive, to do it that way. But you have to be careful. You have to watch out for these charlatans, And you don't be a charlatan. If you're still working a job but you're doing this on a part-time basis, then that's all right, because everybody's been there before, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody starts off making $1 million the first week, So everybody take a deep breath. Don't feel bad if you're not where you want to be. Don't feel bad. It's all right, You'll make it. You'll make it. Just be consistent and be patient and just keep doing the things you need to do. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, come to the fork in the road, left, right. Hey, pick one, you know what I'm saying? But be decisive. Be swift, be decisive, and you will not look back and never have regrets, okay? But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back tonight, tomorrow with the all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. Well, all I know is it'll be two episodes to drop on Friday, one in the morning. This one to upload in the morning because it's already close to midnight now. And the other one to drop this afternoon, early in the evening sometime, probably around 10 or 11. But we'll be back with the all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. And it's all. Peace.